Good morning, everyone. Good morning, teachers. We hope that you're having a great morning. Thank you again for being with us today. Today, we have a special webinar, and this webinar it's about the exam that you are about to take called Aptis. So this webinar is more about a workshop. It's like a workshop in which you will learn about the exam, the requirements of the exam, and some tips and strategies that we have to take into account for the exam that you're about to take. Again, thank you, teachers, for being here. And today we will have a special guest today with us, Anderson Cárdenas. Anderson, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Juliana. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Anderson. So we would like to start giving some information about Anderson. So Anderson holds a master's degree in English language teaching with emphasis on autonomous learning environments and in a service certificate of English language teaching, ISOT, from Cambridge University. He has more than 13 years of experience as a teacher trainer, and researchers developing strategies to improve bilingualism in Bogota in state and private institutions. Currently, he is in the Educational Assessment and Mediation Coordinator at Centro Colombo Americano. So, Anderson, thank you so much for your time, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Juliana. Thank you very much for having me. Well, we're going to have an interesting session today. And as advertised, as Juliana was saying, the main idea of this session is to walk you guys through the Aptis exam. You're going to be taking these exams soon. Yeah, some of you sooner than others because of the dates that some of you have. But mainly what we have here is to offer you this opportunity for you guys to get to know what the exam is about. What is it that the exam has? What are the different sections that the exam has? And probably some strategies, because sometimes you don't realize that actually by implementing certain strategies into your exams are going to give you some test taking skills that can help you get a better score. All right. So basically what we're going to do is that we're going to learn what the exam is about, the different the different parts of the exam, also some strategies, and depending on how technology allows us today, we're gonna try to have some practical moments as well throughout this workshop. You are more than welcome to ask as many questions in the chat as you want. Okay, I'll be more than happy to help you answering these questions. But well, let's get started. I'm going to show you my presentation now. So let me share my presentation in this moment. Okay. All right. So I hope all of you are watching or observing the presentation. Well, the name of the presentation is Aptis General. Why? Because we're going to talk about general things about the Aptis. Mainly, Aptis is divided into different, let's say, versions. We have Aptis General, we have Aptis American, we have Aptis for teachers, and we have Aptis Advanced. In this case, for this particular case, you guys are going to be taking Aptis American. Now, Aptis American and Aptis General, in terms of the structure, are exactly the same thing. The only difference between Aptis General and Aptis American is that Aptis American, well, has an American accent when it comes to the listening part, right? But everything else is exactly the same, okay? It's just for you guys to keep in mind. When it comes to Aptis for teachers, for example, that's a different thing. Well, it has some, particular differences, but when it comes to structure, is pretty much the same. The one that is way different, it comes to be the Aptis Advanced. That one, well, when you get to take that one, probably you will be able to attend one of our workshops on that one. But for now, we're going to focus on the one that you're going to be taking. Okay, for this session, we're going to have some specific objectives. The first one is learn some useful strategies when taking the test. That is the first thing. I'm sorry, do some little practice to start getting familiar with it. And also we're gonna get to understand generalities about the Aptis, general or American in this case. There's something that I want to start with, and is that 50% depends on your level. And the other 50% depends on your practice. Sometimes people think that because they have a good level of English, a good level of proficiency, they're going to ace any kind of exam. But well, it all depends on practice, and how much you know the test, and how much you know the sections, and what successful strategy you were able to implement in the given test. But on the other hand, we have the other situation in which maybe you get to know the test pretty well, you know what the test is about, you know the different sections, you practice a lot, you take a million mock tests, but then there are aspects on your proficiency that need to be polished. And when that happens, well, mainly you're not going to get the score that you need, because first you need to polish and work on different areas of your language. So it's a balance between your proficiency and your practice, how much you know a test and how much you practice for it. Okay, just super important for you guys to keep in mind. Second thing, well, I wanted to start by playing a little game here. I don't know how we can do it, but well, we're gonna try to do it. We're gonna try to see how is it that we can play this game. It's super simple for as many people as can do it, as you guys can do it. In this case, we are going to I'm going to share here with you guys. I'm going to share a little link that you can use in order to access this specific game we're going to be playing in a moment. All right, and in a moment you're gonna see the link. Okay, then you're gonna need a password to be able to play that game. All right, so to be able to play it, well, you're gonna need a specific number. The number is being shown here in the screen. However, I'm gonna write it down for you guys as well, so that you can have it with you. All right, and you can play it. All right, so we're gonna play simultaneously. Let's see how things go. We seem to have already some people joining in. That's wonderful. We have Eloina, we have Cloud B, awesome. So we have some people who are already connecting. 4 people, awesome. So we're gonna give some seconds for people to connect. Yes, as many people as possible as we can connect. And then in, let's say, 20 seconds, we're going to start playing, okay? Let's see how many people get to connect during this time period. All right. Wonderful. We have lots of people getting in. That's awesome. We have 20, 30 people, 31. Okay, the number continues rising, continues increasing. That's wonderful. All right, let's give some more seconds to see how many people we get to have in this game. All right, we have around 45, 47, 50 people already connected to the game. That's wonderful. All right, this is wonderful. All right, we got 61 people, 62. Great. Got several teachers who are ready to play. Okay, we're gonna give you guys around 10 more seconds and to see how many people get connected during this time, and then we're gonna start playing, okay? Okay, 72 people are ready, connected to play the game. All right, that's wonderful. 77. Okay, we have around 80 people connected to the game now. Awesome. You can continue connecting, my friends. Continue connecting, continue connecting. I'm going to start the game, but you can continue connecting. If you have the joining code, you can continue joining. All right, so let's get started, my friends. All right, the questions are going to appear in your screen. All right, so that's how it's going to go. All right, awesome. All right, people are playing really well. Let's see how things go. All right, we're gonna give some more seconds for some people to continue answering the questions. All right, let's see how things go. All right, people are playing really well. All right, let's see who the champions are so far. Let's see. Let's see who the champions are so far. All right, we have Paula Pachon, third place, Viviana Blanco, and first place, Alonso got the first place, my friend. You got the first place. Congratulations. All right, now what we're going to do is that we're going to just go over the questions. We're going to, well, try to see what the answers were for each one of the questions. Well, we have the owner of the Aptis, in this case is the British Council. Okay, most people got this answer right. That was wonderful. What skills are part of exam? So in this case, 33 people got it right. Speaking, writing, listening, reading, vocabulary, and grammar. So in this case, we have an extra component that is not common in other kinds of exams. In this case, for Aptis, this is pretty common to have vocabulary and grammar as one of the sections for the exam. Which section can this picture be about? It's about speaking. Yeah, most people got it right. Congratulations. Which is not a task for the speaking part. Act up a dialogue. You're not supposed to act up a dialogue. That's right. Which is not a task for the writing section. Describe a chart or diagram. Yeah, that's not a task. The other ones are tasks for the writing part. When we get to the writing part, we talk about that. The test certifies from A1 to C. That is true, yes. It doesn't specify C1 or C2. It just says C, all right? If you want I don't know, in the future, you want to see if it can certify whether you're C1 or C2. In this case, you can take Aptis Advanced. Aptis Advanced is the only one that I can actually certify from C1 or C2. This Aptis General or Aptis American just certifies up to C, all right? Which is not a task from the reading part of the test. In this case, a text with true, false not given, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in Aptis. How long do you think the reading section is? Okay, so we have here some answers. Some people say 40 minutes. Some people say 50 minutes. Some people say 20, 1 hour, 15 minutes. Oh my goodness, that's short. 30 minutes. Okay, all right. We have different opinions here. How long do you think the speaking section is? So, okay, some people said 10 minutes. An hour. Oh my God, that would be too long for a speaking part. 12 minutes, 40 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes, 12 minutes. Okay, most people are kind of close. Take the correct information. In this case, writing. Look at this. Writing 50 minutes, speaking 12 minutes, grammar and vocabulary 25 minutes. That's right. What are 2 good tips for the speaking section? All right, so in this case, don't describe the pictures, compare them, use timer to practice your answers, use linking words. Yes, all those 3 are pretty good ones. Up to general or American can have different accents. Well, in this case, when it comes to general, it can have different accents. When it comes to American, mostly it's American. And then here, this case is a question in Spanish. ¿Cuáles centros son los únicos autorizados para la prueba Aptis? In this case, British Council Centro Colombo Americano. Well, actually, only Centro Colombo Americano is the only one authorized to administer Aptis. All right, so for you guys to keep that in mind. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at our presentation one more time. I'm going to start working by different skills. So in this case, guys, you're taking American, 3 skills. Yes, so you're going to be taking 3 different skills. And then we're going to see how things go for that one. All right, so I'm going to go over each one of the skills. But before, I'm going to give you, let's say, a general understanding of the whole set of exam. So in this case, we have grammar and vocabulary. That's the very first section that we have. Yes, that is a section that always has to be taken when it comes to Aptis. Then we have reading test. Yes, we have writing test, we have a speaking test, and we have listening test in that order. All right. So normally that's the way it goes. Now, to give you a little heads up on the timing here. So we were asking about that in the game before. So the core, which is grammar, vocabulary, is around 25 minutes. The reading part is 35 minutes. The listening part is 40 minutes. The writing is 50 minutes. The speaking is 12 minutes. That's how normally it goes when it comes to general and when it comes to American. Okay. Now, the very first section that you're going to be taking when it comes to the test is grammar and vocabulary. Okay, grammar and vocabulary. And for grammar and vocabulary, you're going to have 25 sentence completion, 3 option multiple choice questions. You guys are teachers, so I think you're going to be okay when it comes to grammar, okay? Because I think you are knowledgeable of grammar structures, grammar rules. So I think this is going to be an easy part for you. But also we have vocabulary, 25 questions about vocabulary. And normally these questions are going to be about word matching, sentence completion, word pairs or word combinations, for example. Yeah, words that are used together. That's mainly what happens in this first part. 25 questions for grammar, 25 questions for vocabulary. The most typical kinds of questions about grammar are connected in this case to, for example, this example. Here are some examples. Me about the machine was broken. that the machine was broken. So in this case, we have three different options: told, spoke, and said. In this case, well, obviously the answer would be told. He told me that the machine was broken. So the idea would be to select the best complement here, the best word. And then for this case, it is advisable to always keep in mind verb tenses, modal verbs, prepositions, passives, conditionals, wishes, reported speech, connectors, etc. That's super, super important. But also, it's not only about the verbs, it's not only about like the structures, but also it's about spoken grammar. Spoken grammar is another interesting part, and is that they're gonna test your grammar ability, but in real spoken situations. So for example, as you can see here, there is a conversation between John and Ahmed. So John says, she's French, isn't she? And then Ahmed says, no, she's actually from Belgium. So in this case, actually would be the correct complement there. Okay, super, super important for you to keep in mind. All right. For the first type of question focuses on written English grammar, and the second focuses on the use of English grammar when speaking. So that's basically what I said before. And then let's talk about vocabulary. When it comes to vocabulary, this is what it looks like in the real test. In the real test, it looks like this. We have complete each definition using a word from the drop-down list. Yes, so you have to complete the definition. To cover with paper or material is to wrap. To improve or change is to adjust. So in this case, what you have is to match the definition with the word. That's super simple. And then the second kind of question for vocabulary is, look at these examples. Select a word from the list that has the most similar meaning to the word on the left. So in this case, we have, for example, big, large. Yes, most similar meaning. So big has similar meaning to large. Study has a similar meaning to read or receive, get, start, begin, etc. You see, so words that have a similar definition, which is kind of simple. So the first one is called word definition. The second one is called word matching. And then we have two more types of questions. The third type of question that we have for vocabulary is word usage. And the instruction normally reads like this. Complete each sentence using a word from the drop-down list. For example, it says here, more and more people go abroad for their holidays these days. You see, so that's how it goes. And then the fourth type of question is word pairs or combinations. So in this case, we have select a word from the list that is most often used with the word on the left. So we have, for example, big house, aerobics classes, agriculture minister. You see, so in this case, words that are commonly used with another word. So that's why it's called word pairs or combinations. Okay. So that's when it comes to grammar and vocabulary, okay? When it comes to grammar and vocabulary, that's mainly it. 25 questions for grammar, 25 questions for vocabulary, all right? And then after that, we are going to have the reading test. And for the reading test, when it comes to the reading, the test evaluates your reading ability. The task becomes more difficult as the test progresses. It means that they usually start with a super, super simple, super easy reading, yeah? And then the more you increase, well, the harder it gets, all right? So we're going to see some samples in a moment for you to understand clearly what I'm talking about. So let's talk about section 1, as the girl in the picture is pointing, section 1. So what is section 1 about? Well, I would like somebody to help me read here, but I know that it's not possible, so I'm going to read for you guys. It says, in this part, you need to choose a word, choice of 3, to complete a sentence. There are 5 sentences to complete. You do not need to understand all of the sentences to complete each individual sentence. So that's important to keep in mind. Make sure you read each sentence and all the possible answers words carefully before trying to answer this question, okay? That's super important for you to try to do that, okay? And let me show you an example. This is what it looks like in the real presentation, okay? This is what it looks like, what you are able to see here. All right. For example, the instruction says reading part 1, sentence comprehension. In this part, you must select the appropriate word from a drop-down list. You see? And if we read, for example, the first sentence, it says, dear mom and dad, hello from sunny Brighton. Pete and I are here on holiday for 2 weeks and having a great time. Yes. For example, so you have to select what word matches better the completion of the sentence. Okay. In this case, it's a short letter from a son to his mom. Okay. So that's for you to keep in mind. Super simple. This one is super simple. That is the first one. But the second section of the reading, in this case, in this part, there are two tasks. You see? So let's take a look at that. Let's recap. In the first one, if you see, there is one task, okay? In this case, all right? But in this one, we have two tasks, yes? And in this case, when it comes to the task, two tasks, both have 6 sentences that make a whole text. You see, so what you need to do is to organize these sentences into a text or into a paragraph, and you have 2 separate exercises for this one. The sentences have been put into the wrong order, and you need to put them in the correct order. There is only one correct way to organize the sentences. That's for you to keep in mind. Then read all the sentences carefully first. Then decide on the correct order. The first sentence is identified for you. So it means that the first one is already there. So you don't have to organize the first one because that one is already there. Okay, let's take a look at an example. So look at the example. So you see, as you can see, 2 different tasks. You see the first one says the sentences below are from a report. Put the sentences in the right order. The first sentence is done for you. So in this case, this report gives information about the traffic problems on the coast road. So that one is already done for you. So then you have to just worry about the following ones. Okay, in this case, we have 6 more, 2, 4, 5 more that you need to complete. Okay, so in this case, put them in order. You can drag and drop in the computer, drag the parts and drop them into the correct order, okay? And the same thing, you do exactly the same thing for the second part, okay? That's it, the 2 tasks, super simple. Now let's talk about section 3, okay? So far so good. Now, section 3. Section 3, we go for, in this part, you will match people's opinions to statements. People's opinions to statements. All right. You will read 4 people's opinions on the same topic. Then you need to read 7 statements and decide which person's opinion matches each statement. That's for you to keep in mind. And an interesting tip for you guys for this one is you should read over all your 4 opinions before attempting the questions. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So as you can see here, we have education, art, work, and you see here we have person A, person B, person C, person D. Each one of these people are giving an opinion about specific topic. Then what you need to do is that you have to select whose opinion might be this one. Who thinks you should study when you are older? Who? A, B, C, or D. So drop down list again, and then you select the correct letter in this case. That's pretty much it. And that is when it comes to the third one, okay? The third part, you match 4 people's opinion to 7 statements by selecting the correct person from the drop-down list. So that's mainly how you do it, all right? Okay, and then let's talk about now section 4. When it comes to section 4, as I told you, this case is going to be a little bit trickier or a little bit more demanding or challenging, okay? As I told you, the more it progresses, the more challenging it gets. So for section 4, of course, we have something else. In this part, you will read a long text about 750 words. So this is a long passage. You will also read 8 headings. So a long text with 8 different headings. The task is to match 7 of the headings to paragraphs in the text, okay? 7 of the headings to paragraphs in the text. All right, so that's mainly how you do it. Now, what is a tip that I usually give for this kind of task? That you should read 1 paragraph first, then check all the options, all the headings super quickly and select the most appropriate. Then read the next paragraph and do the same thing, you see? So I never advise you to read the whole text first, no, but just go paragraph by paragraph. Read the first paragraph, and then as soon as you read it super fast, super quickly, then you go over all the headings and then select the most appropriate. Why? Because if the information is going to be fresh in your head, so it's going to be easier for you to identify which heading is going to match better the specific paragraph that you already read, okay? So just make sure to do that for every single paragraph, okay? That's mainly the tip for section 4, and this is what it looks like. You see here paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. You just scroll down. You need to scroll down the bar because you're going to see more paragraphs there, and then you have here, well, the specific paragraph, all right? So that's mainly what you need to do there, okay? Super important. Yes, this is a super important tip. You must scroll the reading text to see all of it. You can do this by clicking on the next bar, on the sidebar, sorry, and moving the bar up and down so that you can see the whole text. Sometimes people don't do that and they don't realize that there is more text there. To complete the task, you need to match 7 headings to the correct paragraphs in the text. That's mainly it. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to play a little bit, and for that, I'm gonna send you guys another little link. I'm gonna share with you a link, and this link is gonna help us play a little something that actually you guys need to use, well, to be able to practice what we just talked about. Okay, so I just shared, I'm sharing in this moment a link so that you guys individually, personally, and you know, there at home where you are right now, wherever you are right now, you can click on that link and then you can actually practice a little bit. All right, I'm gonna see we're gonna do it together, we're gonna play it together. So when you click on the link, you're gonna see exactly what you are seeing in the screen right now. Yes, it says word wall practice 1 Aptis. So you're gonna see that exactly the same thing. And then you write down your name, for example, you click play there. Yes, you're gonna click there on start, and then you're gonna play. So I'm gonna give you around 1 minute, my friends, for you to click on the link and then play. It's gonna take you, it's not gonna take you more than a minute, okay? So I'm gonna give you these minutes for you to play at home where you are right now, and then we're gonna check the questions or the answers together, okay? Let's do it, my friends. 1 minute by clicking on the link. Don't forget, click on the link and play. Just to double check what we have talked about, just talked about, okay? So let's play. We still have some more seconds to finish the game. And as soon as you are done with that, then we're gonna go over all the questions and answers together, okay? So don't worry, for the one who just connected, probably, I don't know if there are some people who are still, you know, connecting to the transmission. Well, just need to click on the link that was shared there, and then you'll be able to play a super easy game just for some seconds. And then in some seconds, around 30 seconds, we're gonna be checking the answers together, okay? All right, we have around, let's say, some 20 more seconds for some people who may not have finished yet. All right, I think it's time for us to double check, well, to check our answers here. So write my name here. I'm gonna play with all of you guys. And then pretty much this is what we're gonna do. All right, we're gonna go over the questions together. So here, super simple. For example, this one, he was or had been. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Which one? Well, you can write in the chat what you wrote. So if you feel, you know, like doing it. All right. So in this case, so what do you think? Had been or was? What do you guys think? Had been. Luisa Fernanda, thank you. Yes, it's had been. All right, awesome. That is awesome. Correct. All right, let's go for another one. To cover with paper or material is to, okay, so what do you guys think? What do you guys think? So, all right, we had lots of people giving us the answer for the first one. Claudia, Diana, Lida, Marta, Lida, Marlene. Very good. Okay, Marlene is telling us. Diana also. Adriana, Lida, rap. All right. Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome. So in this case, rap. Yeah, you were supposed to to drag and drop it. Yes, drag it and drop it. All right, so that's it. Pretty good. What about the third one? Who can help me with this one? Come on, write your answers in the chat, my friends. Good. Some more people will continue giving us the answer for the second one. Awesome. Yes. Choose, Adriana Melo says, is choose. All right, and that is correct. Very good job. All right, how about this one? The city has many and interesting buildings. So what do you guys think? Which one should be the right answer here? Which one should be the right answer here, my friends? All right, let's see. Sandra Patricia is telling us that it's ancient. And you are right, Sandra. Wonderful. Okay, how about this one? Adam, strings or bomb. So this is words associations. So we have to associate the words to something else, right? All right, so what do you guys think about the last one? What should be the right answer for this one? Quite interesting. Bomb, okay. Maritza, Marta, Liliana, Ame, okay. Heidi, Claudia, all right. Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you for your participation, and that's correct. That's mainly it. This is basically what that was about. All right. So that's part of a kind of exercises that we sometimes might have. All right. And then we can also have, well, another kind of exercise. So what we're going to do for now is that we're going to practice a little bit more, a little bit more. This one is going to be a little bit trickier. Okay. This one is going to be a little bit trickier. For that, I'm going to share first with you guys the link for you to play first before we go over the answers. Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys a new link. This is a new link. It's also using the same tool that is WordWall, but it's a different link. Okay, and with this one, what we're going to do is that we're going to play, but this one is a bit more challenging. All right, okay, it's a bit more challenging than the previous one. The previous one was a bit easier, but then we're going to see how we do with this one. Okay, so please make sure to go over this link, this new link that I just shared with you guys. And well, as soon as you have it, just play with it. What you have to do is to match again here. All right, the categories here. Okay, so I'm going to give you for this one 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, let's say, for you to play this one, and then we're gonna go over the answers together. Okay, so that's pretty much how we're gonna do it. Let's see. All right, hope you already have the link, my friends, with you. Awesome. So I think you already have the link. So please play this one, this new one. And then after we have played, we're going to continue with the other sections because there are more sections, my friends. There are more sections coming. So we are going to get to know what the sections are about. Okay, but for now, let's wrap it up. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 minutes for you to play at home where you are right now. Click on the new link that was shared with you already. And then once you're done with it, then we're going to check together. We're going to go over all the answers together, okay? All righty. All right, my friends, I hope you guys are at home, wherever you are right now. You are playing the game. I'm going to give you around 1 more minute for you to be ready, and then we're going to go over the answers together. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, how you doing? Are you ready? Done. Okay, several people are telling me that they are done. Awesome. Great job, guys. So I think we're gonna go over the answers together. All right. I'm gonna see you need to put sentences in the correct order. So what section might that be? What section might that be? So if you know the answer, you can tell me. You can tell me if that section, reading part 3, reading part 4, reading part 1, reading part 2. What section do you think that is? What section? That one's tricky, yes, I know. Good morning. Hello. Some people are saying hi there. Okay, part 2. Emil says telling us that is part 2. Lydia says that is part 1. Who should we believe? Olga Lucia is telling us part 2. Okay, we're gonna use democracy here. Reading part 4 says Rosa. Okay, reading part 2 says English teacher says that is reading part 2. Okay, and all right. Put some sentences in the correct order. Okay, because of democracy, most people are saying that is part 2. Well, we're gonna go for that one, and we're gonna check. Still, we're gonna check in a moment. She space to drink some water. What is that? That is part what? The second one would be part what? What is that? What section is that? Remember that we have grammar and vocabulary. We have, oh, Claudia is saying that it's grammar. It's a grammar question. Lida also says that it's a grammar question. Neila Viviana is telling us also that it's a grammar question. Okay, so we're gonna go with the people. All right, grammar and vocabulary. Yes. Now let's take a look at this one. You have, oh, sorry, I think you said grammar question and I'm using the wrong one. Okay, you have 25 minutes for this task. For what task you have 25 minutes? All right, for what task we have 25 minutes? All right, part 1. Okay, grammar and vocabulary. Neila is telling us that it's grammar and vocabulary. Okay, so let's see. What about that one? Yes, it's grammar and vocabulary. Let's see. Select the most appropriate word from a list. Select the most appropriate word from a list. What section might that be? Reading part 1, reading part 2, reading part 3, or reading part 4? What section do you think that might be, guys? Let me give you some seconds for you to think about it. Sandra Patricia says that it's reading part 1. Erika says that it's part 1. Amami says it's reading part 1. Maritza says is reading part 1 as well. Okay, let's go with the people. You need to match the headings to paragraphs. Headings to paragraphs. Headings to paragraphs. What section is that? Headings to paragraphs. Headings to paragraphs. What section might that be? Headings to paragraphs. Section 4. Some people are telling me that it's section 4. All right, let's place it here. And I guess then you need to match people's to sentences. That might be section 3 then. So let's double check. Wonderful. You did a great job, my friends. You did a great job. Congratulations. That was the right answer. Awesome. That means, I mean, your answers are telling me actually that you guys are getting it. You are paying attention, that you're focused. That's wonderful because being focused is one of the keys to be successful at taking any kind of exam to test your proficiency. So good. Keep focused, my friends. All right, let's go over more information about the different sections. Now we're going to talk about the listening part, okay? Listening. Some people are kind of afraid of the listening because it's a bit, it's inevitable to feel a bit tense, a bit nervous when it comes to listening, because when it comes to listening, well, sometimes you don't know what's going to happen, right? However, well, there are some tips for you here to keep in mind. The listening test has 4 task types, so 4 different tasks. You can choose to listen to the text once or twice. This is a super important thing because in some exams, actually, some other recognized exams, you are not allowed to listen to the recordings more than once. You can listen to it only once. However, for when it comes to Aptis, in some sections, you can listen to the recording twice. That's wonderful, isn't it? All right, so we're going to see some specific aspects of the different sections. We're going to go section by section. Section 1, let's talk about section 1. You can listen to this one twice. However, when it comes to the exam, the day that you come to the center, to our center, to take the test, there's an interesting tip, and it's that if you click on the play button twice, it's not going to let you listen to it a second time. So what you need to do is to click on the play button once, like chin chin, just once, okay? And then it's going to allow you to listen. And if you click a second time, it's going to allow you to listen to it the second time. If you have a double click, it's not going to allow you to do it. So just be careful with that. So it's an interesting tip for you guys to keep in mind. Now, what are some aspects to keep in mind? Look, this is what it looks like. In this part, you will listen to a short phone message or a short monologue or dialogue, and you need to identify specific information such as a phone number, a time, or a place. Look at this specific example that we have here. Samantha tells her friend about an art club. When does the club meet? And then we have Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. Okay, so you have 3 different options here for you to choose. Super simple, and then you can listen to it twice. Isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? All right, so let's go for section 2. So section 1, super simple. Section 2, so what do we have for section 2? Let me just show you here what it looks like. In this case, it looks a little bit different from the previous one, as you can tell. You listen to 4 different people and match the person to the information. So for example, speaker A wants to go to college, work in a different country, start a business, have children, write a book, travel the world, etc. So you choose the most appropriate one. Again, you can listen to this one twice as well, okay? So just keep that in mind, all right? Super simple as well. A little bit different in the dynamics from section 1, but in essence, it's super simple as well. Use the fact that you can listen twice to your advantage here. Read through the questions before you listen. Then on your first listen, select your answer and listen a second time to confirm. You see? So let's listen a second time to confirm your answer. So that's when it comes to section 1 and section 2. Now let's talk about section 3. When it comes to section 3, what do we have for section 3? Listening to authentic speech, such as television, drama programs, or films, is a good way to prepare for this test. So, as usual, it's important for you to expose your ear to different kinds of listenings. Okay, to train your ear, because your ear is like a muscle that needs to be trained, that needs to be put to the test. So then you can watch different TV series, movies, listen to music. Talk to people. All this kind of practice is going to help you improve your ear. Okay, your listening proficiency. Now let's talk about the section per se. You listen to short conversations with 2 speakers to identify the attitude of the speaker. So in this case, it gets a little bit more technical. You need to pay attention to the attitude that they have. It's not just about what they say, but how they say it, what tone of the voice they use, what pauses do they use. So then you pay attention to all these aspects. And when you do that, then you're going to be able to identify the intention that the speaker has when he is given a specific idea. Okay, so that's for you to keep in mind. This is an example here As you can see here, for example, parents should better manage their children's diets. So whose opinion might that be? Man, woman, both? You see? So do you need to identify people's opinions here? That's for section 3. Now, when it comes to section 4, then the last section, yes, for the listening part, the focus here is not on understanding the meaning of what the speaker is saying. No, it's not about understanding the meaning of the words, but on identifying clues in their language. Pay attention to these clues in their language or tone. The tone here again, the intention is important. The way, not only what, but how things are being said. Okay, the tone to help identify the attitude of the speaker, their intention or opinion. In this case, yeah, what is the intention? What is the opinion of the person? Okay, so as you can see, sections 3 and 4 play a lot with this part. Okay, so it's for you guys to be aware of it. Now, this is what it looks like. It looks a little bit different from section 3 though. So look at this one. It says you listen to a monologue to identify the attitude of the speaker, their intention or opinion in this case. Okay, look at this specific example here. It says listen to a city planner talk at a press conference about a new transport plan and answer the question below. For example, what is his opinion on the plan overall? So then you have to identify whose opinion it is, or what specific opinion the person is trying to provide here. Okay, so pretty much that's what it looks like. And this is what it is when it comes to listening. Okay, so to be all ears and to be able to be successful at the listening part. Okay, so you need to be relaxed. Okay, because if you are too tense or if you're too nervous, then you're gonna make a mess out of this experience. Okay, so one of the key elements here for you to be successful at a listening part, because especially listening, makes you really nervous and stresses you out a lot. All right, it's important. All right, here also something important to keep in mind is, okay, let me double check here. Okay. All right, I hope you guys can hear me better now. All right. Okay, so yeah, basically for you guys to keep in mind. So that's when it comes to the listening part. 4 different sections. Okay, remember that for section 1, section 2 especially, you'll be able to listen to it twice. Okay, so take advantage of that. All right, take advantage of that, because this is not something that many tests actually allows us to do. All right, now we're going to talk about the writing part. Let's talk about writing. Yeah, some people love writing. Yes, I like doing it sometimes, but when it comes to writing, it's a bit tricky sometimes. However, we get to learn, what is it that they are asking us to do, and what is it that is expected from us in this specific test. Then it's not going to be as hard as you may think. There are 4 parts to the writing test. All right, 4 parts. As you can see, always we go with 4 parts. In the previous sections, in the previous skills, we also were talking about 4 parts. There are 4 parts to the writing test. You will interact in a social media type written conversation and write emails. Okay, so you need some writing is going to be about kind of like having an interaction, and then the other type of writing is going to be about writing emails. So if you are good at writing emails, that's going to be good for you. It's going to be your call there. Plan what you are going to write and then edit your writing before clicking to the next question. This is something super, super important, and probably because you guys are teachers, you may know this, and is that students forget to double check, forget to proofread, forget to double check what they just wrote, and they could have prevented certain mistakes, but because they didn't double check, well, they made several mistakes. Now, it may also happen to you, honestly, if you don't double check your text. So before you submit or go to the next section, make sure to proofread. Double check what you wrote. Okay, so make sure that you prevent yourself from making silly mistakes, because it happens. It doesn't matter if you know the spelling of a word. It doesn't matter if you do know the past of a specific verb, but because your brain is more focused on developing the task, then sometimes it's not that focused on accuracy. Yes, so that's why you have to proofread it, so that your brain focuses this time on just proofreading, and then you will be able to identify possible mistakes. But what are the most common types of mistakes that people make? Here we have a little list that I think it's useful for you guys to keep in mind. Some of them are the most common mistakes include not answering the question. going off topic, yes, that you're asked to talk about something or to write about something and you end up writing about something totally different. Read the questions and understand what you need to do. That's a tip, okay? So read the question and understand what is that you really need to do. Another typical mistake, writing too much, but with poor grammar. Yeah, that you want to write, okay, the more I write, probably it's going to be the better. No. That's a super, super big mistake. So avoid doing that, all right? And then, because if you write too much, then you're going to have more grammar mistakes, more spelling mistakes, more punctuation mistakes. So limit your text to the specific regulations or instructions that they're giving you. If normally you have to write around, I don't know, between 30 and 40 words, just write it 30 and 40 words. Don't write more, don't write 50, don't write 60, because you're gonna have more chances to make more mistakes, okay? Keep it to the word count and focus on accuracy, super important. Not using a variety of sentence structures. Yeah, don't always go for present. I don't know if you have had those experiences with your students, but sometimes we do the same. Sometimes we just use present all the time or past all the time, but then we don't dare using different other structures, more complex or advanced structures. So try to do that, okay? So that you show off, you show your level, okay? And because that's going to actually help you get your score a bit up if you use more, let's say, sophisticated structures, okay? Not writing in sentences or paragraphs. That's also a big mistake. Not writing sentences or paragraphs, yes, or using just single words but without punctuation. Be careful with punctuation, and using text message, let's say language, of too many abbreviations. Never do that, okay? Okay, so let's talk about the different sections, the 4 different sections for the writing, okay? So for the writing part, what do we have for the writing part? Alrighty. Okay, this is what it looks like. The first one, it's quite simple, as you can see. It's not such big a deal. You need to write 5 pieces of information. This part is not worth many marks, so don't spend too much time on it, okay? Don't spend too much time on this one, because, you are advised to spend like 1 minute doing this, because actually it's super simple. For example, how are you? I'm fine, thanks. It's like just to write a reply or an answer to a specific, everyday conversation question. Like, how do you usually, what do you usually do in the morning? Simple sentence, okay? Don't take too much time on this one, okay? As he was saying there, it's not worth many points, okay? So just take it easy there. In the first part, you have joined a club, course, or activity, and must answer a series of 5 text messages. So they are text messages from other members of the club, course, or activity. You should spend no more than 3 minutes on this part. As I was saying before, don't take too long on this one. The focus is on communication. This means spelling, capitalization, and grammar will not be considered by the markers for this specific test. Don't misunderstand what I am saying, okay? Because for the other sections, that's important, but for this one, it's not important, okay? Because what matters is communication here, in this case, not accuracy, okay? Now let's talk about something else here. It says, this part is about form filling. So this case is different. You have to fill out a form. In this part, you need to write in sentences. If you are targeting a very high score, you should spend no more than 7 minutes on this part 3, okay? It's part 2. So part 1, around 3 minutes. Part 2, I would say around 7 minutes, okay? But pay attention to this. You are asked to write 20 to 30 words. Around 20, 30 words. Keep the word count. Remember the tip I was giving you before. The focus is on writing sentences that are on topic and have correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Here, correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling are important. So keep them in mind, okay? Keep them in mind. A common error is to write more than 30 words. As a result, make a lot of mistakes. Keep to the word limit and focus on accuracy. 30 words, if it says 30 words, don't write more than 30 words. Just keep to the word count, okay? And this is what it looks like, okay? This is what it looks like for you guys to keep it in mind, okay? There are the errors evaluated are how completely you have answered the question, grammatical correctness, punctuation, vocabulary, and cohesion. Basically, that's basically what you guys have to keep in mind for section 2. 7 minutes, remember, okay? Now let's talk about section 3. As our girl there in the picture is showing us, we're going to talk about section 3. What is section 3 about? In this part, you will have a social network type interaction. You will receive 3 questions and need to respond. 3 questions and you need to respond, okay? You should spend no more than 10 minutes on these tasks. Let's keep the count. So I was telling you that for section 1, you shouldn't spend more than 3 minutes. For section 2, no more than 7 minutes. Now for section 3, it's around 10 minutes. You should not spend more than 10 minutes on this one, okay? Focus on correct spelling and punctuation and write sentences that link together and make sense, that link together. Now, pay attention to the word count. Keep to the word count to 30 to 40 words per answer. You see, 30 to 40 words. Okay, in the previous one in section 2, we're talking about 20 to 30. You see, remember? And now we're talking about 30 to 40. All right. So always keep the word count. No more than 40, no less than 30. Okay, keep that in mind. And also, well, let's take a look at what it looks like. This is what it looks like. You see, 3 different questions. It's a social type of interaction, like similar to a forum where you have some questions and you reply to those questions. Okay, that's mainly what you guys need to do there. All right. Okay, so that is section 3. All right. So I'm having some water because my throat is a bit dry now. Okay, now let's talk about section 4. For section 4, so remember, let's recap. So we have 3 minutes, section 1, 7 minutes, section 2, 10 minutes, section 4. Now, what do we have for section 4? This one is a bit different. This part requires that you write 2 emails. How many emails do you need to write? 2 different emails. An informal email to a friend and a more formal email to an unknown person. So you need to write 2 emails. One is less formal than the other. The other has to be a little bit more formal. Both emails are in reaction to information about a change. You should spend all of your remaining time on this part, around 30 minutes. You see, for this one, longer, 30 minutes. All the time that you have left, use it for this one, because the one is a more complex one, the most complex one. Keep the word count 40 to 50 words for the first email. Keep this in mind. I don't know if some of you are taking notes, but it's super important to keep this in mind. 40 to 50 words for the first email. That is the more informal one. And 120 to 150 words for the second email, for the more formal one. Okay, so it's a big difference, a huge difference in terms of word count when it comes to email number 1 and email number 2. So keep that in mind. The first email should be an informal email to a friend or a close family member. And the second should be a formal email to a company, for example, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? Keep that in mind. I don't know how many emails you have the opportunity to write, formally or informally. So it's a good idea for you to practice doing that before the day of the test, okay? And this is what it looks like, basically. You need to use appropriate register, casual versus formal. Yeah, you're not going to tell your boss, hey, what's up? How you doing? No, I mean, you're not going to use that kind of language when it comes writing a letter to your boss or writing a formal letter to a company, right? But when it comes to writing to a friend, well, you can relax a little bit more in terms of vocabulary. And as you can see here in the picture, it shows us actually the word count, you see? So you can see, you're able to see the number of words. And here, again, the instruction is telling you, hey, remember, write 120, 150 words. You have 10 minutes. And for the other one, it says write about 50 words. You see, it tells you how many words you should write, okay? And it also counts the words that you write here. You can see the word count so that you don't write more or less than you're supposed to, okay? So keep that in mind. So that's pretty practical and useful when it comes to it. All right? So far, what do we do? Well, we talked about, in this case, listening and or writing. Okay. Previously, we talked about reading, yes, and we talked about vocabulary and grammar, and now we talked about already listening and writing. Okay. So to do this, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna play another game, but for this one, I'm gonna ask you some specific questions. Okay. Some questions that I would like you to keep in mind. All right. Okay, let's see how we're doing before we continue. All right. Yeah, I know there is a lot of information. Yes, it's a lot of information. Yes. I hope you guys are able to record the video, the video, and then some of you are able to rewatch it if you want to watch it again. But also, it's important to take notes. Okay, it's important to take notes when it comes to, all these kind of information. But definitely, practicing is the best way to get to know the test. All right, I'm going to be sharing some extra links that you may be able to use at the end. Some extra links that I think might be useful for you, and that you can use actually to also continue practicing for the test. Okay, but we're gonna play this game super quickly before we continue, and we're gonna see how things go. Okay, so mainly we could ask some specific question. How many emails do you need to write in section 4 of the writing? Are they casual or informal? So let's see what you guys can write in the chat. So just to double check the information that we mentioned, okay? Because of course, after, as some of you were saying, wow. Oh, awesome. They are telling us here that you can watch this workshop as many times as you want. So you're going to be able to access it through the link. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. All right. So some people are answering already. Yeah. Yes, that's correct. Two different emails. That's correct. That's fresh because that was actually the very last question and the very last piece of information we were talking about. Awesome. A formal and an informal email. A casual, not let's say informal, but casual email versus formal email. Okay. How many sections are there in the listening part? Okay. So another tricky question. How many sections are there? Very good, Sandra and Mariana. You're giving us a very complete answer. Luisa Fernanda is telling us that there are 4 sections. 4 sections. Yes, Angela also. Heidi, Eloina, Aníbal. Hello, Aníbal. Ana also. Cecilia, Marta, Rosa, Janet. All right. You guys are right. There are 4. Virginia. All right. Very good. Very good job. Yeah, that's right. There are 4 different sections. Okay. Remember that you can listen to it 2 ways. In section 2, you need to listen to 4 different people and match the person to the information. Is that true or false? True or false? Section 2. Section 2. In section 2, you need to listen to 4 different people and match the person to the information. True, true, true. Okay. Marta says that is true. Claudia says that is false. Victor says that is true. Lina says that is true. Gina says that is true. Maritza says that is true. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Section 2. Section 2. All right. So you listen to 4 different people and match the person to the information. Okay. That's true. In what section of the writing do you need to write 3 responses to 3 questions in a social networking type of interaction? In what section of the writing do you need to write 3 responses to 3 questions in a social networking type of interaction? What do you guys think? Part 3. Okay, Erika says part 3. Teacher Liliana says part 3. Marta Elena says section 3. Section 3. Awesome. Fantastic. That's right, it's part 3. Okay, in what section do you need to spend just 3 minutes? I told you about this one before. In what section do you need to spend just 3 minutes? And what skill is it? What skill, Probably, yeah, the question probably might be incomplete. So what section and what skill? We're talking about listening or we're talking about reading or writing. Victor says writing section 1. Yes. Very good, Victor. That is the correct answer. Luisa says writing, yes, in section 1. That is correct. No, it's writing section 1. Yes, you guys were right. Writing section 1. Just 3 minutes. It's super simple, super easy. Super easy, yes. Let's go for another question. In what section of the listening do you need to listen to a monologue and identify the attitude of the speaker? Monologue. In what section of the listening do you need to listen to a monologue and identify the attitude of the speaker? Section. All right. Let's see, in what section of the listening do you need to listen to a monologue and identify the attitude of the speaker? Okay, we have some different opinions here. Section 3, section 4, 4, 4. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky because actually, yes, you're right. Some of you are right. Because actually, you need to identify the attitude of the speaker in two sections, two different sections. Yeah, the format is a bit different, but in section 3 and section 4, actually, you need to do that. You need to be able to identify the attitude of the speaker. So if you have 3 or 4, well, you're right. You got it right. And the very last question, what are some of the most common mistakes in the writing part? So I would like you to help me write, because I mentioned several mistakes that people usually make. So I would like you to help me so that we can all review these so that you avoid making these mistakes in the writing part, okay? So what could be the most common writing mistakes that people make, okay? So that we don't make those mistakes at the test. What do you, my friends, think about that? Oh, okay, Loina says overwriting, like writing too much. Yeah, more than the word count. Yeah, that's because that make you probably that can make you make more mistakes. Yeah, writing too much. Yeah, write too much. Yeah, don't plan the text first. Okay, punctuation. Yes, punctuation. Yes, not using punctuation can be basic structures. Yeah, Monica, you're right. Yeah, that's a super common mistake, using super common structures or basic structures, using too many words. Yes, going over the word count, extension of the test, punctuation or grammar. Yeah, grammar is something. Yes, sometimes people think that, oh, I'm a teacher, I know. Yes, I know this. Yeah, but sometimes if you don't double check, if you don't proofread, you may end up making different mistakes. Meaningful or important mistakes that are gonna take off points. Okay. Be concrete. Use different grammatical tenses. Yeah, that's one of the tips that we were talking about. Writing off the top. Yeah, getting off topic is a super common mistake. That's right. Write sentences without order. Yeah, sometimes people don't write with a specific structure and just start writing sentences, but they don't have a specific structure or purpose or order. So yeah, poor grammar and vocabulary. Going by the branches. Yes. Yeah, I like that one. Going by the branches. That is correct, Lida. It's about, basically speaking about everything, but not going directly to the topic. When you avoid going straight to the point. Writing more words than asked. Yeah, the common, super common mistake. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. Very, very nice, my friends. So that was pretty much for us to double check a little bit on the aspects that we had discussed regarding listening and writing. Okay. Now what we're going to do is just, I know that I think this is not going to be part of the text of a test per se, but if you one of these days, decide to go for the speaking part, you want to take a different version of the Aptis in the future. I'm going to also talk about the speaking part because I know that you picked American and you are going for three different sections, 3 different skills, and I think speaking is not there. I mean, you're not gonna be taking speaking. However, I'm gonna go over the speaking super fast to give you some heads up, and this is gonna be also part of of the video and the tutorial for you guys to have it with you, just in the case in the future you decide to go for the 4 skills. For each question, you're given a maximum amount of time to speak, but you can end the recording early by clicking on a stop button. Please make sure you fully respond to the question before you stop the recording. So the speaking part works with the recording. So you have your headsets with you. It's super important to test your microphone to make sure that everything is working while you normally are given instructions for that. And then the most common reasons people receive lower scores than they expect include not doing a proper sound check. So doing a sound check is super important. Not speaking clearly, yes, not answering the questions, giving under length answers, you need not use the full amount of time to speak. If they give you 20 seconds, use the 20 seconds. If they give you 30 seconds, use the 30 seconds. Don't say like, okay, I answer in 10 seconds. No, use all the time that you have in this case to answer the question, okay? Overusing words such as and so, like people tend sometimes to have pet words. We all have some pet words and we tend to overuse them. So you have to try to identify them and try to avoid using these kind of words. What else? Speaking in simple sentence lists, just answering like if you were giving a list. No, to try to tell a story that's going to make it more meaningful and it's going to make you sound better. Not using a variety of sentence structures. Same thing for writing. Same thing happens for speaking. People tend to go just for present or past. So try to be careful with that. Okay, so this is a sample for the sound check on how you should go for the sound check. Okay, this is what the icon that appears there. So it has several sections as well. We have section 1. In this part, you need to answer 3 questions on personal topics. You need to talk for 30 seconds per question. Yeah, this is what it looks like here. You see, try to speak for 30 seconds during all the 30 seconds here to help you maximize your score as well. In this case, as each question appears, the same procedure is followed. Okay, so you follow exactly the same procedure as I am showing you in the picture here. It's a good idea to practice introducing yourself and talking about your personal experiences, for example. Think about how you can talk about familiar topics like holidays, weekend activities, sports, etc. And practice giving your own information about those topics. Okay, so that's a good way to do it. You can practice in front of the mirror. You can record your voice. There are several things you can do to practice your speaking. I mean, nowadays, you can do everything. In this part, you are asked to describe a photograph, section 2, and then answer 2 questions related to the topic in the photo. The 3 questions increase in difficulty from description to opinion. You are expected to talk for 45 seconds per question. You see, in the previous one, it was 30 seconds. For this one, it's 45 seconds, okay? Now, this is what it looks like. You see, there is a picture, yes. And then, for example, the first one, it says, describe the picture. And then you describe the picture. But then the questions change. Question 3, in this case, tell me about a time when you visited a museum. Do you think people should pay to visit museums or should they be free? You see, so questions related to the picture, but they change. You should try to be fluent and spontaneous. Make sure you answer all 3 questions, okay? Super, super important. Then section 3. What do we have? In this part, you need to compare 2 pictures and then answer 2 questions related to the topic. The 3 questions increase in complexity from description to speculation. That's an important part. You need to talk for 45 seconds for each question. Again, the same as section 2, 45 seconds, okay, per question. So in this case here, this one is a bit different. Here the questions are related to these 2 pictures. In the previous one, we had only 1 picture. Here we have 2 pictures. Tell me what you see in the 2 pictures, for example. You see, what kind of people play these 2 sports? You see? So, and the last question here that appears is, in this case, which of these 2 sports is more difficult to play? Why? You see? So questions related to the 2 pictures, okay? Comparing 2 different things. So it's a tip for you guys to keep in mind if you want to practice this speaking part, comparing 2 different things, 2 cities or 2 houses, for example. Focus on describing their advantages and disadvantages. That's important. That can help you. And finally, the last section for the speaking. In the final part, you will see a picture and you'll need to answer 3 questions about an abstract topic. You see, in this case, it's more abstract. So you need to use more. In this case, you may be able to use conditionals. You may be able to use more, modal verbs, etc. You have 1 minute to prepare an answer. And in this time, you can take notes. Look at this. So this one is kind of different from the previous sections because for this one, you're given 1 minute to prepare an answer. You see? And in this time, you can take notes. You have to talk for 2 minutes in your answer. Okay, so 1 minute to prepare, 2 minutes to answer. And because you were given time to practice, you need to try to sound as fluent as possible when you were answering that question, okay? This is what it looks like. So we have these questions here. Yes. We have 1 picture, and then we have questions related to the feelings that this picture may provide. A common error is to describe the photo. So if for this one, you are not supposed to describe the photo. You will not receive a high score if you describe the photo. Be careful with that. The questions are more abstract. How do you feel about something? You see, it's as you can see here in the picture. For example, they are not asking us to describe the woman on the bench, but it's the question are, tell me about a time when you were on your own. How do you feel about it? What are some of the ways of passing the time on your own? You see? So those are the kind of questions that you may get. Another common error is to go off topic, same thing as writing. Focus on answering each question in a clear way, okay? So this is for you guys to have a general idea of the whole thing. This is a general picture, up to general or American. As I told you at the beginning, they are exactly the same in terms of a structure. They are exactly the same. So please, you can take a screenshot. You can take a screenshot of this picture. I think it's pretty useful. It can help you at some point have the clear picture, the general picture of the structure. Yeah, of the structure. Um, all right. So you can take. Okay, somebody is asking a technical question. If we have to bring our own biosecurity? Oh no, you don't. We'll talk about that in a moment in terms of biosecurity. But no, you don't. You are not supposed to bring your headsets. Okay, we have those here. They are properly clean, sanitized, and clean, and they are cleaned properly, following all the biosecurity regulations. Okay, so and they are specially used for testing purposes. So if you bring headphones, they're not gonna be any use for the test. Okay, so you don't need to. Okay, you will have everything here. Oh yeah, somebody's asking us about some links. So I don't know if you guys already took the screenshot from this general like summary of the Aptis. Yes, for you guys to you can give it a check, and this gives you a more general picture of what we talked about. Okay, but of course you can go over the whole video. Okay, all righty. So some specific tips for you to keep in mind: read all directions carefully, read all questions carefully, be sure you know what is being asked, look at all choices before you answer, yeah, eliminate answers you know are wrong, paraphrase the questions, check your work, all right? All right, so basically what we're gonna do right now, my friends, is that I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, I'm back here. All right. Okay, I'm going to share with you guys in this moment a link that I think might be useful to you guys. So this is a link that is going to give you some specific practical, let's say, activities for you to work on your writing, to work on your listening, to work on your reading, etc. Okay. So I'll be sharing with you guys in a moment some of the links that you can use. Okay. Of course, you're gonna get the link to this tutorial, to this workshop. That is gonna help you a lot, of course. But then we have here some links that I'm going to be sharing with you. Okay. Also, definitely, you can access. You guys can access the British Council page that also provides people with lots of different opportunities to practice as well. Okay, I'm just sharing a couple of links that you can use to have some extra practice for the day of the test. And you can definitely go to YouTube. I mean, you'll be surprised. If you go to YouTube, you're going to find complete mock tests on YouTube. It's crazy the number of different mock tests you're going to find in YouTube. If you check there, you're going to see the sections. You're going to see, you have the chance to practice with lots of different mock tests there. Okay, so find them in YouTube. You find a lot there. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much what the workshop was about.
Okay, thank you, Anderson. Thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure. I would like just to share also a little link to a little survey.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if the teachers could help me out. Also filling out this survey.
Yeah. In the chat box from YouTube, you can find these extra resources that Anderson has just shared with us in order for you to practice for the exam. Thank you so much, Anderson.
My pleasure. I don't know if there are any other kind of technical questions that people may have about the test. If I can help you with any other kind of doubt that they may have about the day of the test or something. Something else.
Well, they were actually asking about the headphones, but you have already answered that one. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Okay, so we're about to share another link for you to take a survey, to answer a survey, and just to give us some feedback. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure. Here, I guess we're going to see each other the day. Well, we're going to have different dates for you guys to come here to our center to take the test. So we'll be more than happy to receive all of you guys at the time that you are going to be called to come. And then it's going to be a pleasure for us to have you, all of you here. And I hope you guys get to have a most wonderful experience taking these tests and you get the results that you expect as well.
Yes, Anderson. So one of the things that they have to bear in mind is that they have to bring up their photo, right? Their cédula, be on time, and they will get all this information via email about the time, date, and some requirements and things that they have to bring for the exam, right?
That's correct. You're going to have different dates because of the number of people, of course. And additionally, well, yeah, the day of the exam, the very day of the exam, they will have to bring physically the same documents that they use for the registration. Yes, exactly. The registration form, the picture, and of course the cédula as well. Okay, so that's for you guys to keep in mind. It's advisable to also bring, that's going to be also sent through emails, but it's also advisable to bring a pair of gloves, latex gloves.
Right.
It's used for biosecurity purposes as well. So you're advised to bring a pair of gloves, and that's pretty much it. All right. A face mask, of course.
Face mask.
We need a face mask. Yeah, that's important. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Anderson, thank you so much for your time, for the strategies that you have shared so far, and of course the extra materials and resources for them to practice on the exam. And teachers, thank you again for your attendance. You will find materials and attendance form in the chat. And again, Anderson, have a great day and have a great day for all of you.
Thank you, Juliana, for having us and for having me. And well, thank you, teachers. I hope to see you here one of these days. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.